This episode of Pop Goes the Culture is brought to you by Carol Frank. Thanks for being a Pop Goes the Culture Patreon contributor. To get your name at the top of a Pop Goes the Culture episode, become a Patreon subscriber for just $4.99 a month. It's easy. By doing so, you'll help us keep Pop Goes the Culture coming to you every day. And as a thank you, we'll put your name at the top of a Pop Goes the Culture episode in the future. Thanks to all my Patreon contributors. I'm David Levin, and welcome to another surprisingly emotional episode of Pop Goes the Culture, the behind-the-scenes stories of your favorite TV shows from the people who live them. My talk with Jaleel White continues. Jaleel remembers taping the final episode of Family Matters. We'll find out if he can still do the Urkel voice. What does he think Urkel and Myrtle are doing these days? And Jaleel says goodbye to Urkel. Will Steve Urkel ever return? The emotional answer may surprise you. So, are you still capable of doing the voice?
Absolutely not. It's funny. I can't do the voice now. People are like, sometimes they'll see me in the street and be like, "Come on, do it for me." I'm like, "Hey, man, part of me wishes I could give certain people like a little taste or whatever, but my voice has just changed so much. I'm not that anymore."
I understand. Nor would I ever think of asking you to do that.
No, I mean, hey, you tell me. I mean, shucks, if I.
When the show went off the air.
Yeah.
What? How did you react at that point? What did you do? Where did you go?
Big tears. Big tears. I'll never forget the last taping. I can remember the last taping as vividly as if I did it yesterday. I didn't make any mistakes. I'd played both characters. I might have played all three characters that night: Steve, Stefan, and Myrtle. I remember I was on. I was just on. I mean, I'm not pumping myself up. I was just, I knew this was the last time I was ever going to do this character. And I meant that, like, ever going to do this character. And so I was just, on a professional and emotional high. And it's funny, I've never watched that episode. I've never watched the last episode. And I got through the episode cool. I was like, we're not going to be crying or any of that stuff. I got through the episode cool, and then at the end, I broke down pretty bad.
Everybody else too?
Yeah, but I just felt like I was in my own world that night. Even taking me back to it, it's like talking about the death of a person in your family.
I'm like Barbara Walters.
I'm serious, it's like talking about the death of a person or something, because I gave a lot that night.
You keep in touch with those guys?
Fuck. Turn that off.
Sorry about that.
Wow.
Sorry, Jaleel.
No.
That's all right. It's okay.
Wow.
Take a minute.
Wow, do you have any tissue?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, man. You okay?
Yeah, no, you just brought up an old memory. Just brought up an old memory, man. People don't understand sometimes that those characters are...
They become part of you.
They become part of you. And you start talking about them, and they really are like you're talking about an old relative that passed away. Yeah. And I'll never forget that night. I'll never forget that night, because it was a flawless show. I killed that night, and I killed that night, and I broke down pretty bad, and you just knew you weren't going to do it anymore, and you knew you shouldn't do it anymore.
Becomes a point.
Yeah, that's the part that's hard to talk about, where it's like when you knew, it's just like because people always ask, they said, well, when you do the character again, I said, no, you guys don't get the evolution of a character. And it's like, when you do 213 episodes, you get your fill. You got it. There's nothing else that I'm trying to accomplish here.
And you played the character in some other shows.
Yeah, I did it. I played a character in Full House. I played a character in a couple other TGIF shows. So, you just that last show for me was just about nailing it. It was like somebody telling you, okay, we're gonna do the vault 10 times in a row. We need you to stick all 10. And you're like, you know what? I've been doing this all my life. I'm about to stick all 10 of these.
I'm going to give you a treat for a second.
All right.
You haven't been with Steve in a while.
Yeah. Please don't bring some small child in here that looks like me. Steve, please don't bring some small.
Tell me what he's doing today.
Oh, my. What is Steve Urkel doing today? Steve Urkel is working for Bill Gates.
Bill Gates is working for him.
And no, I don't know. He's inventing something somewhere. I will say that. And he probably has a picture of Laura on his desk. I do know that. You know, for TV's sake, yeah, Steve married Laura, but I prefer to know that Laura married Stefan once the camera stop rolling.
And what about Myrtle? What's she doing these days?
Oh, what's Myrtle doing these days? Gosh, Myrtle's running a pig farm in Biloxi somewhere. I don't know. Myrtle is.
She went on the swamp.
Yeah. She's soon to have her own reality show. Myrtle Urkel, exactly. Myrtle in Paris, running around.
Oh my goodness. So you've done a lot of stuff even before you got onto Family Matters. Let's talk about some of the stuff you did before then, because you were on a couple of shows. You did a couple of guest spots.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of those shows.
Did the Jeffersons, Mr. Belvedere, did about 50 national commercials. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Did a commercial with Bill Cosby, Jello Pudding Pop Kid. I mean, I was a face, a speck that you saw all over the tube, but didn't know probably. And I like to think that all those things that I did prepared me for the job that I would ultimately do.
What did you do afterwards? What are you doing today?
Today I'm a writer. I'm a writer, and thank God for my mother and my other real estate interests. But by day and by night, I am a writer. I've written screenplays for Universal, for working on one now, confidential. Shh, can't tell you who it's for, but hopefully in a couple of years you'll see the movie. And I knew that was my calling from the latter part of my time with Family Matters. I knew that I had to write. So,
You love it. You love telling stories.
I love telling stories. I love all the characters. That's the thing, as much as people love Steve Urkel, I understand that Steve Urkel doesn't work without Laura and Carl and Waldo and Eddie. And it's funny how when you're playing, I love basketball so much, and sometimes people need to understand why I love basketball, because to me it's the ultimate team game. It's the ultimate game, and the same thing happens in a sitcom. And it's sad that we don't see too much of that these days, where, I set a pick for you, and ironically, I get myself open. And, I mean, Reginald VelJohnson and Kelly Williams were the greatest setup men I could have ever asked for. And they made me look great, and subsequently, we all looked great.
Amazing to see an actor open up the way Jaleel White did in this conversation. Next time, the final part of our conversation, we'll talk about disappearing character syndrome. What memorabilia, if anything, did Jaleel save from Family Matters? Recycling sets and playing basketball with George Clooney. Till then, what TV characters would you like to see return to the screen, and which ones should stay retired for good? They're reviving a lot of them lately. Leave your answers in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you're already a subscriber and you don't want to miss an episode, tap the bell icon. We'll let you know exactly when we're showing new episodes of Pop Goes the Culture, Ask Them Yourself, and the Boomer Tube.